Hi and welcome back to another Craig's World. My name's Craig. Welcome to What Is My Madness. You can see the little tigger behind me. Today we're on Piglet mk7 Transit. I'm going to get closer to this. I've already jacked it up. Sorry, took the wheel up, jacked it up, and it is on blocks. And the reason why I'm going to put on blocks because I'm going to be hitting this with all kinds of hammers in a minute, and we'll show you what you've got to undo. It's a very simple procedure. So we've got to undo one bolt. I'll show them you closer. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bolts. That's all that it is. But because that's been on for a very long time, that's the one we're going to have fun taking this off that. Let's get into it. I'll move you around. Okay, so as we mentioned, so we're back now. So as you can see under there, that's my blocks, because we're going to be hitting this. And I always would say to people when you're lifting a vehicle up for any reason, you can never trust a jack. Even though my jack is still there and I've got it resting on these blocks, please make sure it is stable before you do anything. Okay, so let's get back into this now. So this is the drive shaft which goes through to the engine. We have to undo this first because we're going to be taking the drive shaft out to give it the, once we undo the bottom boil joint, to give it the clearance so we can knock it off that strut. I'm not looking forward to this bit. Right. But you get a Transit, you're going to have to learn, especially on the mk7s, how to weld, how to keep repairs. Because if you could take this to a garage to get a new strut and a spring and have this done, you're going to be in it for at least, I would say, 300 quid, if not more. And the part only cost me 30 quid for the strut on the spring, and we're not messing about with clamping the spring down. Yeah, you can get a new spring, take this off and clamp it down, undo the top mount, put a new spring on. You can do it that way, but for 30 quid and getting the full mount and strut, it's a no-brainer. It's just less hassle. So let's see if we can get this off. Right, okay, so this is where I'm at. I've done these just for convenience. Unscrew the stabilizer from the strut, done. Unscrew the trap rod end, knock on here till it pops, move, so you've got free rein to turn it now. Be very careful of your, I think that's where they do the speed rat. So, I wanted to undo this bolt, as I said, to the steering, to the drive shaft, but I've had a little problem. It is so tight, I'm just going to leave it. So what I've actually done, I've taken the bolt out of the back of the strut of the hub. Where is it? I think it's somewhere. There is the bolt out of the hub. And then what I've done, I've actually just knocking up now with this. And as you can see, it was up here, it's down there. So, a little pokery, it is now free from the hub. So I wanted to take the bottom boil joint out, but as you can see, it can still rock, which is fine. So I'm going to leave that well alone. So this now is, the strut is free to come down. So we've got the 3 bolts, which are on the top there. And the problem we have with Piglet is they are right on behind here. So we're going to have to strip all of this down, and I'll show you a little tip. We're going to cut the top of the carpet, because otherwise, if you didn't want to cut the carpet, you would have to take the seat out, the battery tray out, the other seat there, take the entire carpet out, all the bottom cowlings, just so you can lift this carpet, and it's easy just to cut at the top where you're never going to see. So I'm going to put on a time lapse me doing this, and hopefully that should just drop straight out. Right, okay, so I've stripped part of this, and you didn't really need to do it, I just wanted to take it off because I can give it a clean as well. Now, this is where it comes into where you would have to take majority of the dashboard out. Do you see how flat there is at the top? That is where them 3 bolts are underneath that carpet. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. You can take the entire dashboard or majority of it out to get this carpet out, just to get to that piece, and you're never going to see it. I'm going to cut that with a Stanley blade there to make a flap so I can get to them 3 bolts. Easiest way of doing it. I'll show you it once I've cut it. That was a bit of a nightmare, but there you go. You can now see, because I had to take the whole thing off, I took it out in 2 parts, but now you can clearly see the 3 bolts that we need. And did I cut myself? So we've got the 3 bolts now. The suspension will drop and we can put the new one in. So I'm not going to film undoing these, but you will see it going back in. Right, okay, so you do need 2 people for this part. That's why I couldn't really film this of where it is. So we've took the old one off, which there's the old one, as you can see, with the snap spring. There's the other part to it. I know there's nothing wrong with it. It might be a bit scabby, but I know there's nothing wrong with the strut, so I might get a spring and I've got a spur. So I did have to cut the carpet to put them in. You're never going to do it any other way, and it is a little bit fiddly and tricky, that part, but if you can change a wheel, you can do that. It's nothing hard. And the bolts, they're off the old ones. They are 13mm, a long 13mm, and I got, that's what I was doing it with. And because you got limited space, this is why I get these. You can angle it much better. That was a godsend on that part. And the other bit which I haven't shown you just then, so there it is, the new strut on. I have pushed it. You put it back in, and then you have to put a bar underneath it, as you see that, and wiggle it. It is a 2-man job to do it, so you just be aware this part is a 2-man job. Then you wiggle it up, and then the bolt, as you can see, I bolted it back through, so that's now all done. So I've just got to bolt everything back together. So it's putting the anti-roll bar link to that, the steering arm to that, and I did do this without undoing this or undoing the bottom ball joint, so it can be done without undoing them too. I always used to take them off, but I thought I would try it. It makes it much easier actually, leaving that on and onto the bottom swing arm. So next time I do these, that's going to be, I'm going to leave those on, so you'll see me putting them all back together. So I'm going to set this up on a time lapse, and you're going to see me putting it all back. Okay, so it is all buttoned, all back up, ready to put a wheel on. What I'm going to do is just going to clean all this up and de-grease it, because I've been messing around with it. So the wires are back onto its clip and clip there. This bolt has all been tightened, and that one was a 15. So to take the hub off the strut, it's a 15. To take the trap rod end off, it's a 22. And then to take the anti-roll bar link is, you need a HW5 for inside, and then a 19 to undo. And then the top ones, as we said, they are a, what was inside? And the inside ones I think was a 13. So that is it. So that is how you change a strut on a Ford Transit Mark 7. That's either side, so the same principle as this would be the same on the other side. That strut and the spring, like I said, cost me 30 quid, and it took me, with a little bit of help from Natalie, apart from doing the inside, I've not put all the inside back together because I'm going to strip all the front interior out and I'm going to get it all cleaned. I just needed to do a bit more degreasing just on this, and I'm going to clean this up ready for put the wheel back. Jack it back up, take the blocks off. She's fine. Piglet's back on the road. One thing I did notice, there's a big hole under here. So I'm going to be doing another video showing you how to patch holes and the easiest procedures to do it. So that's going to be another video. But for now, she's all running and driving again. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.